G'day. In this video, I'm going to explain how our support service works so that you can understand it better and make the most out of our service. Firstly, it's all based around email. So we focus on giving a very quick response and addressing your website concerns and issues and change requests as quickly as possible via email. We are monitoring our support email address 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the entire team is focused on that, including myself. We give that email address our highest priority. And so that means that you might get a different response from different people at different times of the day. So just expect that no matter when you send your email, it could be a different person who responds to you. And it doesn't mean that there's a completely separate person who has no idea what's going on. We have internal communication systems, which mean that we have a history of your website, and quite often there's a number of people who are familiar with the particulars of your website and your business. And generally speaking, most of the support requests will be addressed by the same person unless it is an urgent request that needs to be done and that person is not available. We aim to respond to every email within 1 hour or even less, especially if it's an urgent issue. However, on the weekends, we do have less staff available and it can take longer than 1 hour to get a response. This also applies to public holidays as well. The way we define an urgent request is if it's something which is affecting your bottom dollar and costing you money, or you're losing money because something is broken on your website. It really helps us to identify these urgent issues that need to be addressed as a top priority if you put the word urgent in the subject line of the email that you send to us. The other thing is that if you are a Velocity support member, you do get higher priority on all of our email responses, and your tasks will be addressed first, because occasionally we do need to do triage. We try to respond and complete all of our tasks as quickly as possible, but sometimes we get overloaded, and so we need to rationalize and decide which ones we're going to address first. The urgent ones which are adversely affecting your business get top priority. Then our priority Velocity support members will get the next priority, and then all the other issues are addressed as quickly as they can be. However, if an issue requires some strategic advice or some investigation or some design consideration, it can take a little bit longer because we need to find the time and space and clear head to give that the appropriate amount of thought and consideration before we respond or we address the issue. If you do have a question or an issue which requires some strategic advice or design consideration and you'd like to discuss that with me, you can always book in a time for a video call to discuss those issues. Now, the core part of our service is providing unlimited minor website changes. And we define a minor website change as a group of tasks which will take us less than 1 hour to complete that you send through at a given time. So it might be in separate emails, it might be spaced out over a few hours, but we group those together and treat that as one task request. In this way, you might ask for several things to be done, each which only takes 15 minutes. But if you've asked for 20 of those, then it's going to take us a few hours to complete. So we need to treat that not as a minor task request, and we need to quote additional for that time. The way our quoting system works is we reduce the first hour from the overall quote. So if you have requested something or a group of things which takes 3 hours for us to complete, we'll quote you for the additional 2 hours. In cases like this where we do need to quote additional costs for completing the task, we always quote in advance and wait for your approval before we proceed with the task. The other thing to note is that we do have a bit of a fair use policy, and if it's something which is only slightly over 1 hour, we're not going to worry about it. However, if we find that you seem to be abusing the service and you're trying to get us as many small things done, getting a whole website rebuilt in minor tasks, then we're going to have that discussion with you and just say, look, that's not really what this service is intended for, and work out what is fair and reasonable for both parties. If you have any other questions about how our support service works, please feel free to reach out to me. Send an email to support@tunedwp.com. Cheers.